What? Yeah.
Take your picture, take mine.
Yeah.
Here, you want a picture in front of there?
Sure.
You take your picture, I'll take mine, I'll send it to you. Come on, Patrick.
Ale ci pan zbrakło. This is cool.
that?
Yeah, turn up the balance.
Oh, that's it?
I tried to get done.
No, it's like, it's so weird. Like,
it's off the record! Oh, holy shit. Oh. This press number is off the record. Oh.
So you're not allowing to do that something?
Oh my god.
At least maybe they'll see when it's Who's saying that, Dan?
I need to be sitting at a fucking desk.
on the LGBTQ and on the working class have destroyed the lives and the livelihoods of millions of people. Defeating the Republican agenda is a matter of life and death for working and oppressed people. We have to protect ourselves in this country, and we have to stand in solidarity with oppressed people around the world. Our government, in a bipartisan initiative, is committing genocide in Palestine with our tax dollars and reinforcing deadly militarism and fascism around the world. Everybody say that ain't right. So, we live in the belly of the beast. This is the headquarters of the world imperialist system. That means it is our responsibility to destroy that system so that people here and internationally, people in Palestine and the Philippines, people in Venezuela and Sudan can live their lives with peace, justice, and equality. That's why we're here protesting the RNC. That's why next month we're going to be in Chicago protesting against the DNC. This fight is bigger than the ballot box. It is bigger than any event. We are fighting against the class of exploiters and oppressors who have committed crimes against humanity for over 400 years. And the only way we're going to destroy this system is united and solidarity. So we're going to continue to show up in the streets and say no more oppression, no more repression, no more exploitation. The only reason that we are not living on plantations right now is because of working and oppressed people who came together and fought for justice. So we have to show, as we have shown historically, that the power of the people is greater than the people in power. It's the power of the people that makes history and changes the world, and that's what we're going to do here at the RNC, that's what we're going to do at the DNC in Chicago, and that's what we're going to keep doing until all of our people are free. All power to the people! All power to the people! And I've been told I have a couple minutes for questions, so if anybody has any questions for me, I'll be able to answer them. If not, I can just step aside for the next speaker.
Yes, sir. Hi, Owen Fairclough, History 360 Press. Can you tell me, in light of Saturday's events, how much the attempted assassination of former President Trump has changed the mood, the tone, what you might be trying to achieve here?
So his question was something about what happened on Saturday. That's not relevant to our plans. What we are doing here is bigger than that. And we know how to keep each other safe. We've had these plans for years. We know what we're doing. We are very experienced at protesting. We're very experienced at fighting the power. We're having a family-friendly demonstration here, and that what happened on Saturday doesn't change our plans at all. So I'll pass it back to Adam if there's no more questions. Thank you.
Thanks, Kobe. Thank you so much, Kobe, Freedom Road Socialist Organization. Up next, we're going to hear from a representative of the students' movement. That is, we're going to hear from Victoria Hinckley with Students for a Democratic Society. Please welcome Victoria.
When I say student, you say power! Student! Power! Student! Power! Student! Power! Hello everyone, my name is Victoria Hinckley. That's Victoria. Last name Hinckley, Hinkley. As they said, I'm a representative from Students for a Democratic Society. I'm a proud member. I've been a member for about 3 years. This year, we marched on the RNC to stand against the attacks on women's and reproductive rights, on Black and Chicano folks, on LGBTQ folks that are pushed by the Republican agenda. Since the overturning of Roe v. Wade in 2022, we've seen countless attacks on reproductive rights, with SDS mobilizing against them each time. The Dobbs decision was a direct result of Trump's presidency. In fact, he takes pride in this. Shame! Shame! Women and students around the country have been suffering since the Dobbs decision, and SDS is dedicated to fighting for abortion and reproductive rights until it is readily available for every person in America. These attacks on reproductive rights, reproductive freedom, and abortion access are harshly felt, especially in the South, in states like Florida and Texas, with the emergence of anti-abortion bills banning abortion within the first few weeks of pregnancy. Shame! Shame! Bills like these are supported and introduced by Republicans across the country as we see copycat bills spread from state to state, aiming to strip people of their bodily autonomy and the right to decide their futures. These policies that Republican officials enact worsen the livelihoods of women and queer folks, as we see with issues such as abortion access threaten people's lives, their health, and their financial stability. And that ain't right. This makes it crucial for us to mobilize and protest against the reactionary agenda that we see at the RNC. National Students for a Democratic Society demands safe, legalized, and accessible abortion and reproductive freedom for all. We refuse to accept these continued attacks, and we refuse to take another step back for reproductive rights. When reproductive rights are under attack, what do we do? Stand up like that. What do we do? Stand up like that. What do we do? Stand up like that. Thank you, and I can take any questions. Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. We will be taking questions for any of the speakers after everyone concludes, just to make the process a lot smoother. Thank you so much. And above all, thank you to Victoria and the Students for a Democratic Society. Up next, we're going to introduce Cody Urban on behalf of the International League of People's Struggle. Give it up to Cody.
All right, y'all, when I say starve the war, I want y'all to say not the people, all right? Starve the war! Not the people! Starve the war! Not the people! Starve the war! Not the people! That's right. Good morning, everyone. My name is Cody Urban, Codyurban. I'm the Vice Chairperson of the International League of People's Struggle, an anti-imperialist and democratic formation of over almost 400 organizations in about 40 different countries. And we're proud to join y'all with the march on the RNC today. The 2024 Republican National Convention starts today, and the most utterly fascist elements of the U.S. ruling system have descended upon Milwaukee. For much of the last few years, false promises of economic recovery and ultra-nationalist fervor have been used to mask the intention of both the Biden and former Trump regimes as the presidential election approaches. In the midst of this ruling class power struggle between the backers of both the Democrat and Republican candidates, the entire U.S. ruling system is exposed for its inherent ability to serve people's needs as an economic depression looms and previously held legal democratic rights are stripped. Working and daily living conditions are becoming more destitute as energy, food, and other basic prices rise, and more workers, including in the U.S. and internationally, are being pushed out of secure employment and forms of work, and many are forced into so-called flexible work hours and contractualization, and work deemed quote-unquote criminal by the state when there are no options left. Attacks on women and their right to reproductive health care are on the rise. LGBTQ plus folks are facing a wave of violence and repressive laws passed to push them back into the shadows of decades past. Migrants and all people of color are met with xenophobia and racism that fuels waves of mass shootings across the country. The Republicans lead proudly with these policies at the forefront, while the Democrats pay lip service for campaign contributions. Both are to blame. War and militarism are the only options left that the U.S. has to defend its corporate class interests and keep the people from rising up. Indeed, we have two of the largest war criminals fighting over control of the world's largest military. The U.S. armed Israeli genocide in Palestine, the continued fueling of war in Ukraine and Eastern Europe, attempted interventions in Haiti, Bolivia, and many countries in Africa, an enormous expansion of overseas bases and military agreements in the Pacific, massive militarization at the U.S.-Mexico border, and many more examples showcase how many lives the U.S. is willing to destroy in order to maintain its failing position as sole superpower. Until we build a new system that truly belongs to the people, we will never have peace, justice, or equity. We march against the 2024 RNC to expose its true character, but we do so also to rally the people of the U.S. to fight for a true people's platform for genuine social change. We must build a united anti-imperialist and anti-war movement that fights against wars of counter-revolution and aggression, struggles for a just peace based on social equity and economic justice, and defends the rights of people to self-determination by any means necessary. We must shut down the U.S. war machine and all of its tentacles. We must end all U.S. aid and weapons sales to regimes that are using them to repress their people. And we must act in solidarity with movements that are fighting against U.S. war, occupation, counterinsurgency, sanctions, and intervention in all their lands. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you on the streets. All power to all the people. And long live international solidarity.
Thank you so much, Cody. Up next, I'm going to invite mi compañero, Carlos Montes, is going to be speaking on behalf of Legalization for All. Carlos.
Thank you very much. All right, everyone. Here I No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here, everyone. No fear. Immigrants are welcome here. Thank you very much. My name is Carlos Montes. I represent Legalization for All, national network of human rights activists. My family is from Mexico. We came from northern Mexico through the border and ended up residing in Los Angeles, California, where I live now and I grew up. I'm going to read a statement from Legalization for All. The Legalization for All network is uniting to march with the Republican National Convention to defend immigrant rights is one of our main demands. The other demands include legalization for all, no to the racist border wall, no border military station, and no more deaths on the border. Stop the exploitation of undocumented workers with low wages. Stop the deportations and the separations of families. Stop the sterilization and sexual violence against undocumented and the detention centers at the border. Texas Governor Greg Abbott continues his unending mission to attack and destroy immigrant lives at the U.S. border in Eagle Pass. I've been to Eagle Pass and I observed the human rights violations. He continues to be supported by Trump and various other bigots in their quest to use every imaginable dollar to hurt and oppress asylum seekers. Trump has vowed to make one of his main goals stifle immigration, specifically from non-European origins. He specifically targets out Latinos and Mexicans. This is why the Legalization for All is marching here today in a contingent from Minnesota to Texas to California. We have NERAC right here, Legalization for All banner. We are joining this march against the Republican convention because Trump has vowed to increase his attacks on immigrants and asylum seekers. We have learned about Trump's ability to push and encourage vigilantly racists like the ones who drove for hours to El Paso, Texas, where my sister and her grandson live, and shot and killed 23 people that he perceived as immigrants, primarily from Mexico, and many of them were U.S. citizens, by the way. We will be marching today to protest Trump and the many Republicans for the continued treatment and terror against the undocumented. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Carlos. Continuing the theme around justice for immigrants, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Christine Newman Ortiz with Voces de la Frontera.
Voces de la Frontera Action is Wisconsin's leading immigrant rights organization. Voces de la Frontera Acción es la organización que lidera la lucha de los inmigrantes aquí en Wisconsin. Y estamos participando hoy en esta marcha para condenar la violencia política y también el esfuerzo de asesinar cualquier líder político, mientras nuestro corazón se parte para las personas y las familias que murieron y que también fueron lastimados el sábado. We march here today to also condemn political violence and the attempted assassination of any political leader. We grieve for the families of those who died and were injured on Saturday. At the same time, it's undeniable that Trump's rhetoric, policies, and actions have contributed to a climate of increased violence and legitimized hate crimes by white nationalists. A la vez, no se puede negar que la retórica, las políticas y las acciones de Trump propio han contribuido a un clima de violencia y han legitimizado crímenes de odios por personas que creen en la supremacía blanca. And let's not forget that Trump led the assault at the Capitol, resulting in 6 deaths, and demanded the hanging of Vice President Pence, or brought the white supremacists and armed Proud Boys into the political mainstream, or opposed common sense gun control. También no podemos olvidar que Trump lideró un esfuerzo en el Capitolio de golpe de Estado que resultó en 6 muertes y exigió que cuelguen a su vicepresidente. También que normalizó a los Proud Boys y también que se opuesta a regulaciones sobre las armas. His hateful and dehumanizing rhetoric against immigrants and calls for mass expulsion have led to an increase in hate crimes against people of color and immigrants. Es su odio que deshumaniza a los inmigrantes y que se llama para la expulsión masiva que ha resultado en más crímenes de odio en contra de gente de color y inmigrantes. Tragedies like those here in Milwaukee, with the fatal shooting of Hmong parents and a Puerto Rican father by a neighbor in their apartment complex in front of their children, saying, "You have to go." Or when a man threw acid on the face of a U.S. citizen from Peru, saying he was illegal and had to go back. Or nationally, with the deadliest attack on Latinos in modern history in El Paso, when a white nationalist carried out a mass shooting, killing 23 Latinos. Tragedias como aquí en Milwaukee, con la matanza de padres Hmong y un padre puertorriqueño enfrente de sus hijos cuando vivían en un apartamento y uno de sus vecinos los mató diciendo tienes que irte, o cuando un hombre tiró ácido en la cara de un peruano ciudadano también diciéndole que era ilegal y tenía que regresar, o lo que pasó en El Paso por la matanza más grande de latinos en la historia moderna, resultando en 23 latinos muertos. The GOP's embrace of a xenophobic and violent platform includes the pledge to carry out the largest deportations in the U.S. history, the use of military force on the southern border against asylum seekers that would contribute to more vigilantism and human rights abuses. El hecho que los republicanos apoyan una plataforma antimigrante de violencia que incluye una promesa de las deportaciones más grandes en la historia de los Estados Unidos, el uso de las fuerzas militares en la frontera en contra de gente buscando asilo, va a contribuir a más vigilancia, a más violaciones y de abusos de derechos humanos. It would also include an end of our family-based immigration system and renewed attacks on funding for so-called sanctuary cities or states. También incluye la eliminación del sistema de inmigración de petición familiar y nuevos ataques en contra de lo que nombran ciudades o estados santuarios. But because we lived through a prior administration of Trump, we say we will never go back to family separations where children are taken from their parents and deported with the purpose of creating trauma and endangering their lives. Pero como nosotros hemos vivido debajo de una administración Trump anteriormente, podemos decir que nunca más vamos a regresar a políticas de separación familiar donde les quitan niños de sus padres en centros de detención y los deportan con la intención de causar trauma y poner en peligro sus vidas. In 2018, we lived through the largest raids in our state's history in the last 20 years in a failed attempt to intimidate families before a key governor's race. En el 2018 vivimos a través de una de las redadas más grandes en los últimos 20 años, en un esfuerzo que fracasó de tratar de intimidar a nuestras familias a salir para las elecciones claves de gobernador. People of all races and religions rose up with mass protests to condemn family separation policies. Gente de toda raza y religión se unió con protestas masivas para condenar separación de familias. In 2018 in Milwaukee, we organized a 60,000-strong Day Without Latinos and Immigrants general strike in March to end 287G and force the resignation of Sheriff Clark, and we won. We passed sanctuary policies to protect our communities and families, and we asserted our values as a welcoming city and state. We march today to say that we are not afraid of those that demonize us and promote hate and violence and division. We stand united and firm for justice and human rights. We are proud that in 2020 we also contributed to the defeat of Trump and his MAGA politics, and we will do so again in 2024. Sí se puede.
Sí se puede, sí se puede. Sí se puede, sí se puede. Claro que sí, gracias. Thank you, Christine. Up next, it is my pleasure to welcome Captain Abudaye with the U.S. Palestinian Network.
Captain Abudaye, excuse me, I'm the National Chair of the United States Palestinian Community Network, and I'm a spokesperson for the Coalition to March on the DNC. HATEM as in Mary, last name ABUDAYYEH. In December of 2022, USPCN learned that the RNC would be coming to Milwaukee, and so we immediately joined the Coalition to March on the RNC. Because Republicans have historically supported Israeli racism, white supremacy, apartheid, and Zionism, the systems of oppression used to colonize historical Palestine, we knew that we would have to stand with our social justice partners across the U.S. to fight for the rights of our Palestinian people and challenge Trump and all the other Republicans who, as of today, have provided political, diplomatic, and financial cover for Israel to kill almost 40,000 Palestinians in Gaza. We also recognize that Israel's genocide against the Palestinian people of Gaza is the primary issue in the world today, our generation's Vietnam War. And just like that war, we have to play our part in the belly of the beast to stop the genocide, to end U.S. aid to Israel, and to stand with Palestine. In the debate, we heard Trump say that Israel must be allowed to finish the job. We know what that means. That Trump not only supports the genocide, he wants to intensify it, to kill more and more Palestinians. But Trump in Milwaukee this week and genocide Joe Biden in Chicago next month shouldn't forget that the vast majority of the world stands with Palestine and its right to self-defense and resistance in Gaza. That the Palestinians and the Lebanese and the Yemenis and hundreds of millions of other Arabs in the region will continue to resist and ultimately defeat the U.S. and Israeli war machines. And that people in the United States want money for health care and education and child care and jobs and immigration, not occupation. USPCN's chapter in Milwaukee participated last month in the Juneteenth celebrations here, joining 200,000 people to commemorate and honor the rebellions of enslaved black people who fought for and ultimately won their freedom. Today, along with the Black-led National Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, dozens of other institutions, and thousands of other protesters, we will confront the evil policies of the Republican Party and continue to fight and march and struggle for freedom and justice, for the liberation of black people and immigrants and women and workers and other oppressed communities in the U.S., and for Palestine's victory over Israel. In conclusion, before South African apartheid was defeated, our international anti-apartheid movement had built a consensus that South Africa had no right to exist as a racist, white supremacist, settler colonialist apartheid state. International consensus that South Africa did not have the right to exist as that kind of state. Today, there is the same worldwide consensus that Israel also has no right to exist as a racist, white supremacist, settler colonialist, apartheid, Zionist state. It is on its last legs, as is the U.S. empire. And once we're done here this week in Milwaukee, we'll move south to Chicago and do the same with tens of thousands of protesters in August telling Genocide Joe, Killer Kamala, Baneful Blinken, and their cabal of top Democrats that from the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, thank you.
Thank you so much, Condemning. Viva, viva Palestina! Viva, viva Palestina! Viva, viva Palestina! Viva, viva Palestina! That's right. Thank you to all these wonderful speakers who are giving us particulars that are forming this coalition. So now to talk about this entire coalition, it gives me a lot of joy to bring up my comrade Omar Flores of the Coalition to March on the RNC.
Hello everyone, as mentioned, my name is Omar Flores. I am the co-chair of the Coalition of March and the RNC. Thank you to all of the organizations and community members who are out today to join us in the culmination of 2 years of organizing. The Coalition of March on the RNC came together in the summer of 2022. And from the beginning, our goal has been clear. In the first press release we ever put out, announcing the coalition's formation, I was quoted, "We welcome every opportunity to rally the masses of people across the country in opposition to the Republicans and their racist, sexist, bigoted, anti-worker agenda." And this is still true. 2 years later, we have over 120 organizations of the coalition and 5 well-defined points of unity. Defend women's, LGBTQ, and reproductive rights. Defend and expand immigrant rights. Peace, justice, and equity for all. Stand with Palestine! And to sum it all up, fight the racist and reactionary Republican agenda. The most visible figurehead of the Republican Party right now is Donald Trump. And we want to be clear. We are marching on the Republicans' entire agenda. Our speakers today represent a broad movement against the entire Republican platform. We are marching on every Republican state slashing funding for DEI initiatives in education. Every Republican governor putting up more razor wire to militarize the southwest border. Every Republican voting for right-to-work bills, and every Republican signing bombs that they're sending to Gaza. We are here to march within sight and sound of the Fiserv Forum to let everyone know our coalition will fight the entire racist and reactionary Republican agenda. The organizations you will hear from today have been working on projects aligned with our points of unity for years. And there are dozens more in our coalition that will not be speaking that have made incredible contributions to their respective movements. No one here pressed a button and made everyone appear here at Red Arrow Park. And our work will not stop when we pack up the stage afternoon. You can join many of the organizers here again in August in Chicago when we march on the DNC, where we will be letting the Democrats know that we also see every bomb they drop on Gaza, every family they separate at the border, and every time they choose not to raise the minimum wage. Beyond this summer, we encourage you to find a place in the movement by joining an organization. Listen to the speeches today. Get on an email list or follow an organization on social media and go to events. The work of fighting back the RNC might end soon, but the work of getting our demands met is just the beginning. We look forward to a safe, family-friendly march today and look forward to every delegate and politician in the Fiserv Forum hearing our message. Thank you.
At this time, that is the end of our press conference speakers. We will take any questions you may have for the coalition in general or particulars within this. We will take any questions. Yes. The question is, can we share where everyone is from across the country, different states or cities?
We pretty much have the whole country covered, if I'm being honest. We have folks from LA, we have folks from New York. Let's hear our folks from Florida. We know they hate the Republicans. Definitely folks from Illinois. Let's hear from Minneapolis. Let's hear from Minneapolis. We get a lot of folks out here, so yeah, we're pretty well represented here in terms of geography. We are the Coalition to March on the RNC. To march on the RNC. No comment at this point. have only been in opposition in words, so we plan to be the opposition in action. Yeah, most definitely. We have a lot of organizations here that are specifically organizing against racist and political repression. Maybe we can hear from some folks in Harper about about militarization of the police and what's going on right now.
One of my comrades from the Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression just welcome up Jasmine Smith. She's going to talk about the militarization of the police.
So I'm Jasmine, Jasmine Smith, Smith. One of the Chicago Alliance Against Racist and Political Repression, the head coach of our campaign to free incarcerated innocent children survivors wrongfully convicted. So in Chicago, we're fighting against police crimes. We're fighting against police and dirty detectives that's had kidnapped, wrongfully put bad cases and wrongfully convicted our loved ones. Like 2 of my loved ones have been gone now 14 years and 17 years due to cops coercing and torturing witnesses to make false statements and testimonies against them. Now Chicago is the #1 capital in the world of wrongful convictions. They did get that name by mistake. And that's good. We have freed over hundreds of men thus far for being wrongfully convicted by the hands of police that's supposed to protect our communities, but instead they are abusing their titles and they're using their strengths and by the numbers of the code assignments of forcing people to make false confessions and beating some of these survivors into false confessions against themselves so they can wrongfully convict them and put them in the godforsaken slave ships that they call prisons. There's nothing correctional about it. We have the police being protected for centuries now by these powers that be, the Democrats, the Republicans. No police around the globe is being held accountable for their actions. People being wrongfully convicted should be a crime. Judges and state attorneys that have a role in freeing these innocent people that's overhearing these cases should be held accountable because the evidence is clear on all cases that these men and women are innocent. But yet we have to fight tirelessly to prove that they've been unjust, that they didn't give the due process that they were supposed to be getting by the courts to give them the justice that they deserve. And they're being protected by, political powers, the Republican side and the Democrats will continue to get away with their crimes. So we say enough is enough and every day we fight for change.
We're very happy about the parade route because we're within sight and sound and because we fought and we won. And we're sticking with that. We have an agreement with the city. We fought very hard for it for 2 years. We are a little salty. It was so last minute. But we're happy that it got through and that we're going to be able to march unimpeded. We're going to be stopping there to hear from a few speakers. Yes. I think the Republicans are experts on political violence. Any other questions? Thank you, everyone.
That concludes the press conference. We will begin in about 5 minutes hearing from welcoming speeches. So in about 5 minutes, we'll start with the welcoming remarks. Thank you to the members of the press for today's press conference for covering this. Thank you.
I know. I didn't like the first one. So.
Instead of